Hey everyone, it's Cece from One Green Pea. Today we're going to talk about the care and propagation of the magnificent ZZ plant. Plus, I'm going to teach you how to pronounce the actual botanical name. First things first, let's get the name out of the way. Well, ZZ plant is just fun and easy to say. Learning a plant's proper botanical name makes you feel smarter, and it's just a really great practice for clarity. So, this plant has two names, Zamioculcas Zamiifolia. Break that first word into two, Zamioculcas, and the second word into two as well, Zamiifolia. Now you have it, put it all together. Zamioculcas Zamiifolia. Easy as that. So this video doesn't last 3 hours. I'm going to continue referring to it as the ZZ plant, but now we know how to say the proper name. The ZZ plant originates in Africa, and it's technically considered a succulent, and not because the plant stores water in the leaves, but because it stores water in rhizomes, which are potato-like structures down at the base of the plant under the soil. Fun fact. Why would you care about growing the ZZ plant? Because it is an amazing plant. First of all, it's absolutely beautiful. I mean, the foliage is stunning, and I love a shiny, waxy leaf. But it's also extremely tolerant. It handles almost all types of light, from low indirect all the way up to bright indirect. The one light you wouldn't want it to be in is direct light. That would burn the leaves. It also goes for a really long time without water, so care needs are really quite low on this plant. I highly recommend it for new plant parents as well as people with established collections. There are a variety of varieties. This one obviously is the most common. It's just the ZZ plant, but it also comes as a raven. Raven is dark black, has dark black leaves. Super cool. Here's a photo of that. The Zamicro is another really cool one that I'm actually on the hunt for. It's just a dwarf ZZ plant. And the Zenzi. The Zenzi has a little bit more curly leaves, as you see here, and they kind of come together at the top. As I mentioned, the ZZ plant is really low maintenance, so the care needs are pretty simple. As far as light, it can tolerate a wide range, from low indirect light all the way up to bright indirect light. Again, don't put it in direct light. It prefers to dry out completely in between waterings because it stores water in the rhizomes. I probably water my ZZ plant every 2 to 3 weeks, sometimes even going a little bit farther. And it enjoys a chunky, well-draining soil mix. So all of them are pretty basic. As far as problems with the ZZ plant, I haven't really had too many problems with mine. I did find scale on my ZZ plant one time, and I have a picture of that. I'll show you what that looks like. But that was really easy to take care of because the plants are so durable. I really just scraped off the scale insects that I found, and on some of the leaves that were a little more affected, I just clipped the stem right off. Let's talk propagation. There are 3 ways to be successful propagating your ZZ plant. The first one is a leaf cutting. So as with most succulents, each individual leaf can grow roots. Now, that's a super slow method, and I'm impatient, so I've actually not tried that one, but you would just take a leaf and set it in either soil or water and wait for roots to develop. I mean, it could take months. The second method is a stem cutting. A stem cutting means just that. You would just cut the stem right at the base, allow the cut area to callus over for maybe a day, and then place it in either soil or my preference is water, so I can watch the roots develop a little bit quicker. And then the final method is separating the rhizomes. I am going to show you that method because my plant is ready to be repotted, and I thought it would be a perfect opportunity to show you how to do that. So because it is summer and I want to contain the mess inside, I'm going to take you outside to see that process. So we are outside and ready to propagate. Now, one thing I didn't mention before is that the ZZ plant is toxic to pets. So you want to be careful where you put your ZZ plant in your home if you have pets, particularly if they tend to eat your plants. And the sap can also be toxic to humans on contact. So when you're working with your ZZ plant, you want to wear gloves. The first method I want to show you is the easiest, and that is the stem cutting. So I am simply going to take my snips, I'm going to find the stem that I want to propagate, and then just place it in water. Like I said before, you can allow the cut area to callus over, but you actually don't have to. Either way works. So I'm going to come in here, find the stem I want to cut. I think I'll take this one, snip it down low near the soil, just like this, and then place it in water and wait for roots to develop. The second method is a little bit more complicated, but still very doable. I'm going to separate the rhizomes on this plant because he needs repotted. He's outgrown his home. So I'll show you how I'm going to do that. First things first, I've got to get him out of this pot. I'm going to try to do it as gently as I can so I don't break any roots or stems. So I'll just dig around the sides of the pot. And this lets gravity help. And I'll show you what a rhizome looks like, because they're kind of cool. There we go. All right, so he is out. You can see the root mass has wound its way around the bottom. Now, this was one of the ways that I knew he was ready to be repotted, and that was that every time I watered, the water ran right through. Great indication. But also, some of these rhizomes were rising above the soil, and once that starts to happen, then also you know that he needs to be separated or repotted. And in this case, instead of buying a bigger pot, I'd like to just make 2 ZZ plants. So I'm going to brush off some of this soil. I want to be as careful as possible. I don't want to damage the roots, but it's a bit of a rough process. And then I'm going to have to just cut him right in half. I have loosened as much soil as I could so that I can spread these roots out a bit, and you can see they are wildly grown. I don't like to say overgrown because they've just done their job and they've developed. And now I need to get in here and do the process of cutting this apart. And I want you to see, peek in there and see, those are the rhizomes. They look like little potatoes. They store the water. And you can tell from how wrinkly it is, he's a little bit dry, which is fine. Okay, I am literally just gonna come in here with my knife and start separating. And it seems complicated and kind of scary to do, but the plant will be fine. Okay. There we go. I have one mass of roots, rhizomes, stems, and leaves, and a second one. Now I'll pot these up. I'm going to put this larger mass in the bigger pot and put this other one in a new smaller pot. And I have filled this pot about 3/4 full of soil. And a question I often get is, can you reuse soil? My answer is, it depends. Because this plant was healthy, it had no diseases, no fungus, none of that kind of thing, I definitely did reuse the soil that I just took out. I'm going to top it off with fresh soil mix, so it's going to be great. So I will take my plant, look at those roots, gently set it into the pot, and then I'm going to top it off with soil. I do, remember, want the rhizomes to be just under the soil level, so that's going to determine where this goes in the pot. He is happy in his new home. I'm going to water him in well and then do the same with the other plant. So there you have it, 2 beautiful Zamioculcas Zamiifolia plants. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're not yet subscribed, hit that red subscribe button. Any comments or questions, please leave them below. And as always, my plant friends, let's keep growing together a greener world.